blackness giving rhyme or reasons. Black all the time, no matter the time of season. We spice up everything and add our flavor, we the seasoning. Hated by many, but admired by most. We the baddest from the US to the Ivory Coast. We don't have to exert our power, we just simply coast. We've been put down, let down, and hung out to dry. But through all of it, we still keep our heads to the sky. Black forever, forever. I'm unapologetically black. We rise like unapologetic, yeah, we're the chosen. From the streets to the stage, the power's awoken. Black magic in our veins. Feel the motion, warriors of change. Pushing through every notion. No chains can hold us, we break through like oceans. Educate, elevate, that's our devotion.
Another Queen Ahmadiyyah production.
I'm unapologetically black for all rhymes and reason. I give no apologies for my blackness, giving rhyme or reasons. Black all the time, no matter the time of season. We spice up everything and add our flavor, we the seasoning. Hated by many, but admired by most. We the baddest from the US to the Ivory Coast. We don't have to exert our power, we just simply coast. We've been put down, let down, and hung out to dry. But through all of it, we still keep our heads to the sky. Black forever, forever. I'm unapologetically black. Still pushing through the struggle, can't keep us down. Voices loud from the underground to every town. Shades of excellence, ain't no hiding, won't back down. From the roots to the US, in the city's crown. Stay shining bright despite the hate they lay. Our culture's fire burns strong night and day. Black forever, the spirit won't decay. Raise the banner high, cause we here to stay. Sally, stay shine with go in a level I dog, so I cry, Sally. Angel, new command, your thoughts are demands, and it's turn on Sally. I'm unapologetically black for all rhymes and reason. I give no apologies for my blackness, giving rhyme or reasons. Black all the time, no matter the time of season. We spice up everything and add our flavor, we the seasoning. Hated by many, but admired by most. We the baddest from the US to the Ivory Coast. We don't have to exert our power, we just simply coast. We've been put down, let down, and hung out to dry. But through all of it, we still keep our heads to the sky. Black forever, forever. I'm unapologetically black. We rise like unapologetic, yeah, we're the chosen. From the streets to the stage, the power's awoken. Black magic in our veins. Feel the motion, warriors of change. Pushing through every notion.
Black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all. And I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all. And I'm black, y'all. And I'm black, y'all. And I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all. I'm blickety black, blacker than black, black. I'm blacker than black.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your morning wake-up call. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done so already, be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Okay? So let's see who is in here. Anita Harrell, Claudette. All right, let's get into it. Fight for Black. Desmond is here. All right, Christopher Perkins. All right, shout out to my moderators for putting in work. Okay. Flawless Honey is here. All right, the lovely T. We the People is in the house. Trisha is here. All right, so shout out to everyone in chat, everyone tuned into the Queen. Okay, so before we get into it, let's have a brief word from my sponsor, because you all know I have to keep the lights on. All right, Shadowfly, I see you, beloved. Just anticipate. Okay, the lovely T. Okay, so here we go. Shout out to 12 Tribes Hair Oil.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
All right, so with that all been said, don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes Hair Oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts. You can also find it at Walmart.com. And she also sells a lovely beard oil for the men. Okay. So let's get into it. Let's get into it because there is supposed to be a boycott. The FBA, as some of you call yourselves affectionately, are supposed to be boycotting the Africans on August the 1st. Are supposed to be boycotting the Africans on August the 1st. Once in the chat, if you're going to participate in the boycott. Once in the chat, everybody come clean. Once in the chat, if you plan on boycotting the Africans starting August the 1st. Let's see who's in on it. All right. Uh-oh. I see a whole lot of ones. Hold on. Ooh, clearly they have y'all mad. Somebody said, Jay Meadows said, I've been on this. Let me tell you all something. It is really sad that all of us people heavily drenched in melanin cannot get along. Okay? It is really sad that we can't get along. Some of us anyway. Now, I'm going to tell you this. You know, I love Africans, Jamaicans, Haitians, Trinidadians, you name it. Okay, I love everybody. All right? Well, not everybody. But what I'm saying is this. I love all different types of people. Okay, who treat me with respect, who treat my people with respect and all of that. But let me say this. There are some Africans who have been very, very disrespectful to African Americans, who talk down on us, who feel like they're better than us, who go in on us, who just treat us disrespectfully, even when we're spending our money with them. Now, just a few years ago, about 3 or 4, we had the same problem with the Asians going into their beauty supply stores and going into their hair salons. Do you all remember that? Do you all remember that? And let me tell y'all something, because I reported on this when it was all going on. And I, quite frankly, have not been to an Asian business since. Okay, I don't go get my nails done there anymore. I don't go to their restaurants. I don't do any of that because they were talking so much trash and they were being so disrespectful. I saw a video where they locked a grandmother and her 13-year-old granddaughter in a salon, okay, in a nail salon, because they didn't want to pay for their services because they weren't pleased with it. Then they proceeded to attack them. I've seen this on a myriad of different videos. But one thing that I also saw was that no matter how disrespectful these people were to Black women, some of these Black women still went to their shops. I remember a video where Tyrone Muhammad, okay, he's an activist. I believe it's in Chicago, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. This was some years ago. But I remember him specifically going to one of those nail salons where Black people had been disrespected. And he went there, he threw bricks through the window. But before he did that, now I don't condone any of that, but I'm just saying that's what he did. But before he did so, he walked in and told the Black women that they need to leave. And then after he did that, of course, they called the police and he walked right up to the police with his arms outstretched to get those handcuffs. So the next day, and even that same day, there were still Black women going to the shop. Another thing I recall is there was a woman, a Black woman, I believe it was in Oklahoma, probably Tulsa, if memory serves me correct. This was about 5 or 6 years ago. She went into a Asian-owned beauty supply store. And her little son, who was about 2 years old, maybe, couldn't have been more than 3. But he picked up a little keychain or something that probably cost no more than $2 or $3, if that. And he walked out with it. And when the mother turned around and saw him because he was behind her, she took it out of his hand and she tossed it to the person who worked there. I don't know if they were the owner or not, but she gave it to him. He then proceeds to follow her outside, talking trash, going off. Okay? And then they got into an argument and he punched her in the mouth and split her lip. Now, when he split her lip, she had to go to the doctor and get stitches. So the next day, there was about 5 to 10 Black men. I don't remember the exact number, but they were standing outside with signs and protesting and telling Black women not to shop there because of what happened the day prior. All the Asian men had to do to get their business, the Black women that is, was put up a sign that said all weave is 50% off. And when he put up that sign, you know what Black women did? They lined up around the building to get in there, buy that weave. That's what they did. Okay, that's what they did. And one of them, in fact, got so upset about the Black men telling them that they should not be spending their money with people who would brazenly disrespect you to your faces, put hands on you and any of that. And so one of them walked over and cursed one of the men out, and then went and got right back in line and went there and bought her bundle for 50% off. Okay? That's what Black women did. So now Black women want to boycott the braid shops of the Africans. Did the Africans beat any of you up? Did they hold you hostage? Did they lock the doors and refuse to allow you to leave? I'm sure they didn't. I haven't seen any of the videos. Now, they may have said things that are disrespectful. Quite frankly, I've heard them say things disrespectful, not to me, but on videos and things like that. And it ticks me off, just like it ticked me off when the Asians were being disrespectful. Okay? But here's the sad fact of the matter. Now, we know why the Asians are disrespectful to us. But Africans who almost look like us, why are they so disrespectful? Why do they have such a problem? Some of them, not all. Why do they have such a problem with African Americans? Did anyone bother to ask themselves that? Do y'all think they're just hating on us? Do y'all think they just think they're better than us for no reason? What do y'all think the source of the problem is? Joy says it's the crafty counsel. It exactly is. Okay, it's the crafty counsel of the wicked is confederate against thy people. Okay, this is nothing more than a tactic of divide and conquer. That's a tale as old as time. You don't think this came from the colonizers per se? Okay, you don't think that? But here's the thing that's funny. Let me tell you all something. What some of these immigrants, Black immigrants, what they don't know, and I'll specifically say the Africans because that's who y'all are talking about boycotting. But what some of them don't know is that the reason when they come here, they're given grants that they don't have to pay back, and they're allowed to do things and given benefits that we can't get, even though we were born here and been here and likely going to die here. Well, that's all to further sow seeds of division. And they also do it because they can help them get businesses. They don't care about giving them grants and, things so they can open up their businesses. And then meanwhile, they're looking at us crazy because they're like, we just got here. You've been here all your life and you don't even have anything going for yourself. You don't have a business. Well, that's because they don't tend to like to give us business loans, let alone grants. That's why you see a lot of Black people in America with mom and pop shops where they had to start from scratch and save up their money to get it because they couldn't get business loans. And even if you have good credit, sometimes you still can't. And this is all by design, but some of them don't seem to understand that. And so they think that we're just lazy. And let's not forget that also they show them certain things before they allow them to come over here. They show them videos of us fighting, acting crazy, because some of y'all do be acting crazy. They show things like Jerry Springer, the Love and Hip Hop Housewives of Atlanta. They give them stereotypical images. They tell them we're all thieves, like we're out here going to hit them upside the head and rob them. These are the things that are fed to them. Okay? I want you all to pay attention. And this is a way of indoctrinating them and making them think that we are the enemy when the real enemy doesn't look like them or us. I want y'all to pay attention. And I'm not saying per se white folk. I'm talking about the global elite who run this entire thing because that's the real enemy. And I've told you this 1,000 times. They're the ones that keep all of us down here bickering over race and status and who's the rich and who's the poor and all of that in between. That's what they do because that's America's biggest thing. Their biggest strategy is the strategy of divide and conquer. Now let's talk about it. Okay, let's talk about it because the idea that the United States prefers to hire Africans over African Americans is a complex and yet a sensitive topic. Okay, it's not an official policy, but there are some perceived and real social, economic, and institutional dynamics that help explain why this impression exists in certain spaces. So let's break it down and talk about some of the factors, okay? Because this is nothing new to me, okay? There is nothing new to me as far as this is concerned. This has been going on for decades. It just looks like at this point it's getting worse. So let's talk about, first of all, stereotypes and perceptions. Okay, some employees consciously or unconsciously hold different stereotypes about African immigrants versus African Americans. Now, African immigrants are sometimes stereotyped as being more hardworking, more grateful for opportunities, and less likely to challenge authority. That's the kicker. I want you all to pay attention. Okay, I want you all to pay attention. Okay, more likely to challenge authority. Now, why would they say that or even be concerned about that? Can you please let me up? Hold on. The reparationist perspective says, can you please let me up? I have a lot of information concerning this topic. Well, I just might let people up later on in the live, beloved, but not right now. Okay, Christopher says they be buck dancing. Joy says, will we ever see reparations? You know, I doubt it. Okay, I doubt it. The Glaive says, I wouldn't worry about the FBA movement. They won't be prominent by the next decade. Just ask the original Black Panther Party. Well, here's the thing, and I'm glad you brought up the Black Panther Party. So let's talk about it. When they say that Africans are perceived as being less likely to challenge authority, that's absolutely true. Who are the ones that they deem as the troublemakers here in this country? Who are the ones they deem as the troublemakers? It's us. FBA, African American, whatever you want to call yourselves, they deem us as the troublemakers. And here's why. Because we're the ones who are militant. We're the ones that go against the grain. It was our ancestors who fought for civil rights. Okay. The Black Panther Party is one of the reasons. All right. The Deacons of Defense. I could go on and on. The Black Liberation Movement, you name it. These are all militant groups formed by our people. Okay. You see, people who come here from foreign countries are absolutely going to be less likely to challenge authority because they have something to lose. You see, if they come over here getting out of pocket and doing too much, okay, as far as the government is concerned, they'll just send them back to where they came from. They can't send us any darn where. Okay, they can't send us anywhere because some of us were here before them. Okay, most of us were here before them. Okay, and that's facts on facts on facts. All right, and we stand up to them. Okay, we stand up to them at the end of the day. But let's continue. Now, African Americans, by contrast, may face biases rooted in centuries of systemic racism, including negative media portrayals and historical stigmas. These stereotypes, of course, are unfair and can be even harmful, but can influence hiring decisions in subtle ways. So let's talk about the second aspect, immigration and selection bias. Most African immigrants who come to the U.S. do so through highly selective visa programs, such as diversity visa lottery, employment-based visas, student visas that lead to them working. And as a result, many are already highly educated or skilled before they arrive. This self-selection means that African immigrants often arrive with advanced degrees, professional experience, and a high motivation to succeed. Now, this doesn't by any stretch of anyone's imagination mean that they're more capable than African Americans. Okay, but it can affect how they're perceived in the workforce. Okay, I want you all to think about that. And then let's talk about the third thing, cultural assimilation and workplace behavior. Some studies suggest that African immigrants can be seen as more culturally compliant, okay, or less likely to push back against workplace discrimination. This is very true. Okay, this is absolutely true. And here's why that likely is. It's because we know all about how the people do things over here. And I'm talking about the status quo, the people who don't look like us. We know how they get down. We know what they've done throughout centuries. We know the history of them, just like they know ours. Okay. And what they know is you can only push us so far before we go out there and take to the streets protesting, before we assimilate, before we get some sort of group together, a militant group, and start a revolution. That's what they fear. Let's not forget J. Edgar Hoover said the main threat to the United States is Negro unity. Where are the Negroes? Where are the Negroes? Okay? Where are the Negroes? We are their biggest fear and their worst nightmare. Okay? We're their worst nightmare. The Africans aren't. The Jamaicans, Trinidadians, none of them are. Because like I said, if they get out of pocket or start doing what they deem as too much, the government that is, they'll just ship them off to where they came from. They can't get rid of us. And trust me, they've tried. Okay? They've tried. It never has worked. Now, with that all being said, you see, employers looking to avoid conversations about race and equity, they may view them as safer to hire because they're not usually complaining about race, but we are because we know all about discrimination. Our ancestors are the ones that fought for equality, okay? And this reflects racist assumptions and an avoidance of accountability, not a real difference in worth or capability. All right, I want you all to pay attention. Now, like I said, this is nothing new to me because I actually wrote this paper probably my last year in college, but it still applies. Okay, it still applies. So now let's talk about the fourth thing, internalized anti-Blackness and colorism. Okay, there's a long history of anti-Blackness in the United States, and we all know it. Okay, and of course it affects all Black people, not just some of us, every last one of us, but especially African Americans because of our historical ties to slavery and systemic oppression. You see, Africans can come over here, or other melanated, heavily drenched in melanin people can come over here, but they're not going to be treated as bad as we are. Okay, that's never going to happen because we have historical ties to slavery and systemic oppression. And in fact, some employers and even some Black immigrants, they internalize these biases. That's what they do. And that's what some of the Africans have unfortunately started to do. They have started to internalize these racial biases against us. Now they're treating us just like the racist white folk. Some of them. Keep in mind that when I'm speaking, I'm not talking about all. Okay? I'm talking about the ones that do. They treat us just like racist white people do. Now, this leads to preferential treatment based on proximity to whiteness. Okay, foreignness or perceived docility. And let me tell you all something else. And I talked about this before, if you all remember. Okay. So, hold on. Money Bob says, y'all hating on wealthy Africans. We're not hating on anyone, beloved. Don't come here talking about hating, okay? Nobody's hating on anybody at this point. We're having a conversation. Now, either you can be a part of the conversation and act like you have some sense and be respectful, but if you come in here talking crazy, you will be banned from the channel. Now, maybe you won't mind being banned from the channel, but I also don't mind banning you from the channel, okay? So let's not come in here spewing hate or saying anything disrespectful because nobody's hating. And who even said anything about wealthy Africans? We're talking about Africans in general. And Black people in general, Black Americans, FBA. Okay? And so please sit back and listen. You just might learn something. All right? I know you probably think you know everything, but trust me, I'm sure you don't. All right? Now, with that all being said, Deronda said the Queen said what she said, period. Okay? That's right. The lovely T said no hate in this chat. Okay? Now, with that all being said, let's go back to what I was talking about, the internalized anti-Blackness and colorism. So they start to internalize these racial biases and then start treating us and saying the same things to us as racist white people. Okay? This is what they do. Now, mind you, I'm not saying that all white people are racist, but of course, we know some of them are. And the Africans who talk down on us and just disrespect us blatantly, they talk to us and treat us the same way. Okay, but here's the thing. Now, let's talk about data and education statistics. Okay, on paper, African immigrants often show higher rates of college degrees than the U.S. average, higher rates of participation in the STEM and healthcare fields. Okay, so this doesn't mean African Americans aren't equally or more qualified, but educational disparities driven by unequal schooling systems in the United States. See, that's what they don't know sometimes. Okay, and this is all due to redlining and poverty, okay? And putting people in disparaged communities, okay? Like the projects and things that they built, okay, decades ago, the projects were just that, a project to see how if they put a bunch of poor people, downtrodden people in the same vicinity, if they would turn on one another. Would they be like rats all trying to fight over the same piece of cheese? It was a social experiment. These are the things they do to African Americans. Okay? These things can, in fact, lead to statistical differences in credentials. It's not that, many African Americans don't want to go to college. Some of them don't have the resources that allow them to go to college. Some of them have to go to work instead. Maybe they're trying to help with the family life, with their parents or whatever. But there could be a myriad of reasons. And we do have poor educational systems in this country, specifically in Black communities. But here's a reality check that's very important. You see, African Americans are still widely employed in all sectors of the U.S. society. The idea of being passed over is not universal, but may be more visible in certain industries. Okay, specifically like anything pertaining to academia, tech, and healthcare, for examples. African immigrants and African Americans both face systemic racism, if we're just being honest, but from different forms. Division between these groups often only serves white supremacy. Okay, which benefits from our disunity. Okay, so when you're sitting here talking about, and here's the bottom line, the perception that African immigrants are preferred over African Americans often reflects a mix of employer biases, structural inequalities, selective immigration systems, and stereotypical thinking. Okay, it's not about one group being better or worse. It's about how racism adapts to pit Black people against one another instead of challenging the systems that oppress us both. Okay, that's how that goes. It's the systems that oppress us both, that oppress all of us. But here we are fighting amongst ourselves and saying we're going to boycott the Africans. Now, if you want to boycott the Africans, go right ahead. Maybe it will teach them a lesson. Maybe it will teach them a lesson. But at the end of the day, this is all serving the wanton supremacist. Okay, just so you know. Okay, that's how that goes. Now I'm going to go to some videos. Fight for Black says, Dr. Claude Anderson warned us back in the early 1990s about immigrants of all kinds, Queen. Well, you see, he had to warn us, and we have to know and realize that some of these people have been taught and indoctrinated to think the worst of us. And so they don't want anything to do with us. And then they look down on us. Okay. That's just something that has always been done. Okay. I'm going to read a few of these comments. King Shaw says Africans and island folks don't like FBAs. We tried to side with them. They told us to go F ourselves. Well, here's the thing. You could say some of them. Some of them. Because as far as I'm concerned, there are some Africans and some islanders who absolutely do like us. Okay. It is definitely not all. So I'm not ever going to say that. I just think that we're all doing each other disservice when we're going against one another. Now, I shared a post on Twitter, on X yesterday, and I'll go to that. And I had a note on there. And I basically said, I'm sick and tired of people disrespecting us. People who, if it weren't for us, they would not even be here. You see, we're the ones, our ancestors are the ones that fought for equality, fought for civil rights and all of that, and for many of the systems that allowed them to even come here. So put some respect on our name. That's what everybody needs to do. Put some respect on our name and stop trying to talk down on us like we are sheesh. Okay, y'all know what I'm talking about. Okay? At the end of the day. Now, I don't have a problem with Africans, like I said, Haitians, or anybody. But at the end of the day, they need to put some respect on our name and show us a little bit of gratitude, because it was, in fact, our ancestors who were the trailblazers that has allowed them to come here. Okay? That's all I'm saying. Now, with that all being said, King Shaw said, boycott them racist Asians and Latinos and Arabs too. Exactly. I don't hear y'all talking about boycotting them. And I think they're absolutely worse and more nefarious than the Africans have ever been. Okay. And that's why I brought up the whole point about how these black women did not boycott those Asian hair salons and nail salons and the beauty supply stores. They still went in there, even though you see black women who look like you getting beat the hell up. You see it. And then you saw them doing videos talking crazy and disrespecting you, and you still went. I saw one of them doing a video saying, oh, we don't need y'all's money. Yes, they do. And these are the people that come in our neighborhoods and want us to spend money with them, but they don't contribute anything to our community. If you send your child in there, and I've told you all this before, if you send your child in there who's on the football team at school or who's raising money for anything at school, they're not going to donate to them. If your child's selling t-shirts, they're not going to buy anything. Okay, they're just there to make the money. And then they'll disrespect you in the process, but y'all still go there. Okay, y'all still go there. Now, when it comes to the Africans, people want to put their foot down. You should have been putting your foot down. Okay, you should have been putting your foot down as far as I'm concerned. Okay. Now, with that all being said, let me just go to some videos, and then I want to show you all something, because this is a conversation that definitely needs to be had. I'm not with sowing seeds of division. I think that we all would be much stronger and better off together than separated. But you know, the bottom line is we can't make people unify with us. That's what we can't do. And here's the thing. When we talk about people disrespecting us, because I am sick of it, and I'm sure many of you are too. But at the end of the day, here's what another thing I'm sick of. I'm sick of Black Americans disrespecting ourselves. We disrespect ourselves. Some of us do. Okay? That's what some of us do. Some of us disrespect ourselves. So how can we sit here and expect other people to show us respect? Okay? But let's continue. Like, sub, everyone, please like and share. Now, this is a lady who was talking real greasy. This African woman here was talking real greasy. She really ticked me off. I'm going to share her video. And she was just saying some crazy stuff. And as a matter of fact, somebody said, I can't remember who said it, but somebody said she gave us a terroristic threat. Because you know, FBAs be calling them tethers, the ones who be talking crazy to us. But said she was giving us terroristic threats. Okay, so let's get into it. The lovely T said, you hit the nail on the head, Queen. Thank you, beloved. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Likes up, everyone, please don't forget to like and share. Thank you in advance.
I'm not here to disrespect nobody. I'm here to speak my mind the same way you come online to speak your mind. This message is for some of the Black American who does not know the background, who does not know the destination, who does not have culture or what they call tradition. This message directed to you. If you're a woman enough, come on my DM. You say you want to go protest against African braiding shop, restaurant. You couldn't protest against the white people was killing you guys like chicken. You couldn't protest against the Chinese that take over America, they're richer than you guys. But you want to go protest against another person. How foolish can you be? How foolish, how classless, how senseless some of you.
Now, here's the thing. At the end of the day, I agree with some of what she's saying right there at that point, that if you're not protesting against the other people that are the oppressors and the other people that have done you dirty or whatever, but the bottom line is she's saying all of this, but I guarantee you she's one of the same Africans who's talking trash about us, okay, on a regular basis. Okay, just please pay attention. I mean, I can tell just from listening to her. Okay, you can see the angst, the disdain that she has for us. She didn't just get mad, she's been mad. Okay? So please pay attention.
You guys can be. No. You told us that in August 1st, African braiding shop and restaurant are going to feel it. The heat, right? Do you know that if you threaten African, they will deal with you like chicken? Have you ever seen where they turn somebody to chicken? You don't know what they call black magic? You want to go try some African? You destroy any African shop, they will deal with your entire generation.
Now, see, here's where she ticked me off. Here's where she ticked me off, and she did just what the racist people do against us. She's sitting here painting a whole false narrative. First of all, we didn't say we were protesting against them. We never said we were protesting against them. Okay? Some of you said you were going to boycott them. Now she's saying if you go and destroy any African shop, nobody said anything about destroying anything. Do you see how she's painting a narrative? This is how I know this woman doesn't like us in the first place. This is how I know she doesn't like us in the first place. She's sitting up here lying, talking about people said they're going to tear up these shops, and then talking about black magic. Girl, we're not scared of black magic. Our ancestors knew magic too. But it was magic that came from the Most High, okay? From the melanin within. We don't have to do black magic. That's what we don't have to do, boo. But I want you all to pay attention. She's sitting up here talking about, okay, if we tear up or destroy, what she's going to do. Nobody said anything about that. Where'd she get that from? Boycotting. That doesn't have anything to do with destroying property, okay? Painting a false narrative. This is just what those people that don't like us, that don't look like us say and do, okay? Zay says, I can't believe Africans talk about us when they have so much corruption within their own government. Exactly. Isn't it crazy? Make it make sense.
First of all, African don't hold gun. We don't mix by gun. We deal with spirit. We swim in the spirit. Some are full of witchcraft. For those who want to, my advice to don't go protest. Stay in your house. Because if they catch your face, like you protest against the shop, or you destroy anything in the shop, I don't know. Maybe you end up with stroke.
Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? She said, if you go and protest, don't go and protest. Like she's warning us. Okay? Like she's warning us. I want y'all to pay attention. Yeah, she said they swim in the spirit, beloved, as if we aren't spiritual ourselves. So she said, don't go and protest. Stay in your house. Because if you go and they catch your face, y'all heard that, right? So she's threatening us and telling us to stay in the house. And if we destroy anything, nobody said anything about destroying anything. Okay, nobody said anything about protesting. So I don't even know why she's going all in, talking crazy, because nobody said any of that, lady. Okay. And then her caption says, this message is for some of the foolish Black Americans. See, that's how you know she doesn't like us anyway, because she comes out already being insulting. And then she's talking about you may have a stroke. So you're going to put magic, black magic on us to make us have a stroke. Girl, sit down somewhere. So you can tell she doesn't have any black magic, because if she had black magic, she'd have fixed her hairline. Okay? If she really knew black magic, she'd have fixed her hairline. That's all I'm saying. Now, I don't want to go in on it too bad, but I'm just saying. Lady, don't come over here trying to threaten us, okay? Because we're not falling for it, okay? Please pay attention, but let's let her cook.
You will end up with stroke because not every African can forgive. Not every African can allow you to destroy their life. When they come to strong heart, the correct is some African. I am African, and I'm telling you who we are. You said that we are going to feel the heat on August the 1st, on the end of August, right? Do you ever read the book of Psalm 109? If I read that against you 7 days, 7 nights, and the running rain of river, you will not stand in the next day for the rest of your life on bed. You guys believe in gun, shooting each another. Not every African know how to shoot. And me, I can never hold gun with my hand, because my hand is too powerful to chop demonic things with my.
So now she's accusing us all of being gun-wielding thugs. She said we know how to hold guns and shoot each other. That's what she said. And she said she doesn't even know how to hold a gun in her hand because her hand's too powerful. Well, if your hand is so powerful, girl, do something about that hair upon your head. Okay? I mean, this is all so crazy. This lady does not like Black Americans, and I can tell you that right now. Okay? I can tell you that right now. Natasha said her hairline is powerful. I mean, exactly. But let's let her cook because she's going in on us, honey. Pay attention.
So we are ready. Go to African people shop to destroy their shop. You don't want to be African, fine. We don't have no problem. You want to eat African food, nobody is forcing you. I don't want to eat I don't like some of Black American food. I don't see no food in this life say this food is for Black American or this food is for African. When God created Adam, he put stuff in the garden. He didn't say this for Black American or this for African. Only you guys have seen them.
Let me say this, and then I'm gonna let her finish, and we're moving on. Chip Bittersweet said your African magic couldn't keep the whites or China out. Stop the cap. Right. I'm still trying to figure out how people that are not Black or African go over to Africa and start running stuff and have a whole town, okay, a whole place where they can, an area where Africans are not even allowed in South Africa. Y'all have heard about it because I talked about it. Okay? You got a whole area where there's people that don't look like you and tell y'all can't come there unless you're working. And then when you get done working, you have to leave in the motherland. This is going on. They got the Asian people, the Chinese people coming over there and putting up grocery stores and all types of businesses and telling them they can't come in. Well, she's talking about us. This is why it's crazy. Because here's the bottom line. No matter where you come from, when you come to America, this is our house. That's facts. No matter where you come from, lady, when you arrive in America, you're in our house. This is our turf. We've been here. We're the first ones here, even before the white folk. Okay? Even before the white folk. All right? Read Columbus's journals. Copper-colored people. That's us. All right? Please pay attention, but let's let her keep going because she's almost through.
You're separating food, African food, American food. Food is food. As long as you can eat and survive. But you're going beyond. I advise you do not destroy nobody's shop because someone will not forgive you. Yes, that's my message to you all. Whoever that brain is full of foolishness, that message is for you. Because I know some of Black Americans are not racist. Yes. And those who are not racist, your enemy will never see you. Those who support African, you shall live long. Yes. And those who hate African, the ground you walk on will be the one to swallow you. You want to hate on my people? I'm here for you.
Did y'all hear that? You want to hate on her people? She's here for you. And she said the ground will swallow you whole. Let me tell y'all something. First of all, nobody's hating. See, this is the thing right here. This is the thing that gets me right here. When you call people out on their BS or you stand up to them or whatever, or you speak against whatever they're doing, they always want to say it's hate. Because people cannot stand criticism. It's nothing about hate. Okay? It's not that we hate Africans. It's not that we're hating on Africans. The fact of the matter is we're sick and tired of being disrespected by people who almost look like us. Okay? That's what that is. And then she's sitting up here making threats. Lady, nobody's listening to you. Okay? You're not scaring anybody. Talking about those who hate Africans, the ground will swallow you whole. And then talking about those who support Africans. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm real scared. This is all crazy. Okay, this is all crazy at the end of the day. Hey, Jay, you all conversations with Jay is in the chat. You all make sure you're following his channel. Okay, this is all crazy. Now she's sitting here making bold threats and going in and then sitting here lying, talking about if we destroy anything. Nobody said ever anything about destroying anything. But here's the thing. Black Americans are tired of being disrespected by the white people that don't like us, by the Latinos who look white that don't like us, by the Asians who don't like us. and by our own brothers and sisters from other regions of the world who don't like us. We're tired. At the end of the day, it's like everybody, or not everybody, but so many different groups of people have this anti-Black issue. And we haven't done anything. We're the most welcoming people on the land, as far as I'm concerned. Okay, I really believe that African Americans, FBA, Black Americans, whatever you choose to call yourself, are the most accepting people in the world. That's just my opinion. Okay? We're not going out here committing hate crimes on anybody, being xenophobic to anybody, because that's what some of the Africans are now saying, that we're xenophobic. You don't get to call us xenophobic or say that we're hating on you or that we in fact hate you when you've been disrespectful to us, and now it's made some of us not want to shop with you. Now, I'm not going to boycott the Africans, but some of you all are. So my thing is, that doesn't mean that you're xenophobic, and that doesn't mean that you hate them. Sometimes people need to be taught a lesson. Sometimes people need to be taught a lesson. That's what the people are saying. Maybe you need to be humbled. Some of you who speak the way that lady was speaking. Let's continue, because all of them are not speaking like this, just so you know. Let's go to the next video. Now, here is an African American woman. Y'all don't think this makes us look crazy to white people? Y'all don't think this makes us look crazy to white people? It's like all the melanated people just going at it like it's diaspora wars. It's real crazy. Okay, I'm not boycotting Africans. That's what I'm not doing. But I will talk to them and try to educate them on some of the reasons. Let me, you know what? I'm going to show this video, and then I'm going to share another video that I think that the Africans need to see. We don't necessarily need to see it because we already know these things, but the Africans need to see it. So I'm going to play that next.
After reading a lot of comments about that boycott, it's been brought to my attention that a lot of these African hair braiding shops are doing some human trafficking, and a lot of immigration fraud is going on. So I'm gonna just leave this information right here, so all of my Black Americans can hit the ICE tip line for all those African braiding shops. Yeah, those sweatshops that they like to work in. Let me move my head out the way. Yeah, I'll be calling on Monday about all the local African braiding shops in my area. Thank you. Thank you, guys. See, at first we just didn't want to give you money, but like now we just want you to go back home.
She said, now we just want you to go back home. Well, I don't necessarily want anybody to go back home, but listen, here's the thing. I hope what she said is not true about what's going on in those shops, because a few years ago, I did a video telling you all how that absolutely was going on in some of those Asian beauty supply stores. I showed y'all the receipts. Okay, now with that all been said, Wisdom Master Review says, if Arabs, Chinese, and East Indians boycott them, they wouldn't make videos. No, they wouldn't. And here's the thing. This is what I want you all to pay attention to. All of these people that go in on us, whether it's the Latinas, the Africans, or whoever, the racist white folk, what I want you all to pay attention to, and I'm talking to Black Americans, FBA, I want you all to pay attention, because those are the same people who always, when they have an issue, they want us on board. When there's an issue, they want us on board. Remember how the white women came out when they were talking about overturning Roe versus Wade, and they came and did all the TikTok videos and said, oh, Black women, we know that we haven't had your back. We haven't been fair to you, but this is the thing about all women. We need your support. We need you to stand with us. Remember that. Remember that. These are the same people who want us when it's time to do battle, but yet they want to battle against us. They should ask themselves, why do you want us on your side when you're battling somebody else? They always want us on board. Think about it. When they started deporting people, okay, didn't they all start calling for the Black people to get on board? Black people, where y'all at? Y'all need to be out here protesting against immigration, protesting against ICE. Isn't that what they said? Isn't that what they said? Y'all know why? Y'all know why they do that? Why they come to us for guidance? Y'all know why they come to us for support and protection, for us to stand with them in times of peril where they're having issues? Because we are their mothers and fathers. That's why. Because we are their mothers and fathers, okay? We're the kings and queens of the universe. That's why. All right? That's why they come to us for protection. Just like the child running home to its mother. Just like the child calling the mother when something bad happens. Mama, that's them. That's what everybody does to Black Americans. They all come running. They all come running. They want us on their side as their protectors because they know that we're the only ones really that's going to put out give them the smoke. Okay? You saw our ancestors marching and protesting. You saw the Black Panther Party. You saw how our ancestors don't play. Okay? You saw how they don't play. You see how we can get real militant real quick. We don't mind standing up for ourselves. Y'all saw the Montgomery Brawl. You sadly had to see the Cincinnati Brawl. You know why you had to see the Cincinnati Brawl, though? It's because people are getting tired. Like, our people are just getting tired of people messing with us. Y'all can't just leave us alone. Y'all can't just leave us alone. No, some people just can't. Some people just can't leave Black people alone. They just have to keep poking the bear and poking the bear. Now, I'm going to tell you like this. Like I said, I don't have a problem with anybody until they make a problem. So let's go to this video that I think that African people need to see. I'm going to share my screen. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Now, I shared this a couple of days ago on X. Now, I want y'all to listen to what this white man said. See, I've been telling y'all this for years. But sometimes people who look like me and people who almost look like me don't believe something until a white person co-signs it. So let's let him talk about it and then see what y'all have to say.
Billionaire tech and entrepreneur Mark Andreessen explains inadvertently how DEI has crushed the African American community. Wait, the foundational Black community.
It actually also affects African Americans in a very interesting way, which is actually both the universities and the corporate employers are literally, this is true, they literally import Africans so that they don't have to hire African Americans because they still count as Black. There was a great story. The thing that woke me up to this, there was a story in the New York Times 20 years ago about Harvard. This is Harvard admits, Black students, but which ones? Back when the New York Times could talk about these things honestly. And it quoted actually Henry Louis Gates and Lonnie Guinier at the time at Harvard Law School, basically observing that African Americans were not benefiting from affirmative action because Harvard had figured out that they could import Nigerians. Right. And again, it's just like, great. The Nigerians are great. They're very smart. They're very productive. It's fantastic. All other things being equal, you'd like to have as many of them in your country. But like, is that really why we're doing, the set aside programs?
This is a part of American history that most immigrants, and specifically, I want to talk to the Africans that come here. This is the part of American history that you guys don't understand. And this is why you may think the Black Americans are always complaining. You guys have to understand now, we are not a guest here, right? We didn't just get here and like you guys. We're on a completely different program, and the government treats us as such. Let me read this to you. We are the only group in this country with a moral, legal, and historical claim to reparations, land, restitution, and policy power, and the moral authority to challenge the foundation of America. We're the only group that has been here since the beginning. We understand the law of the land. We know how this country was started. We know every single step that this country has been through. And when you have people like that, that's the higher ups don't want to fight with people like that, right? So what they do is they use DEI to they import people who look like us to then put them on the screen. Ketanji Brown Jackson, Kareem Jean-Pierre to make it seem like, yeah, we do hire black people. Those are first generation people here. Those are not black Americans. They don't look at this country like we do.
Okay, and that's just a fact. That is just an absolute fact. The fact of the matter is this. The fact of the matter is this. The government, okay, the people in charge, the powers that shouldn't be, those people look at Africans and others that come here that almost look like us. They look at them as being more docile. They look at them as not being so quick to buck the system. They know our history just like we know theirs. Okay? They know it's only so much we're going to take before we start to rebel, or before we start to protest, before we take to the streets, before we start demanding things. Just like we started demanding reparations. He's absolutely right with what he said. We're the only group here that is owed reparations from the United States. Now, other people are owed reparations, but from the countries where they came from. Okay? The Brits owe Jamaicans reparations. The United States owes us reparations, and they don't want to pay. They don't want to pay because reparations means righting a wrong, repairing something. And they don't ever want to apologize or accept accountability for slavery. They'll sit there and say things like, oh, the Africans sold you all into slavery. Well, some of us weren't in Africa. Some of our ancestors were right here already, okay, when it was called Turtle Island, all right? And in fact, they teach slavery backwards and act like everybody who was enslaved here absolutely came from Africa, when that's not even true. When that's not even true. See, they do that to make us feel like we don't have any say on this land, like we aren't owed this land, like we weren't here first, like we're the immigrants, when in fact, no, they were the immigrants. Okay, they were the immigrants. Like Malcolm said, we didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us. We were the first ones here, and we're going to be the last ones here, whether they like it or not. So that's why they have a problem with us, because we've always bucked the system. We've always fought back. Okay, there were slave rebellions that they don't want to talk about. Okay, at the end of the day. Now, with that all being said, let's go to this video that I also shared on X of this African woman apologizing for some of the things that have been said and done, you know, because some of the ones that were disrespectful started copping pleas. Okay? This is why I say, OG Patrice says, this is why I say everybody can't go. I'm sick of the others that want to continue to be in close proximity to whiteness. They want their acceptance so bad. They're not us. Well, some of them absolutely want to be close proximity to whiteness, and they'll look down on us because of that. That's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. Some of these Latinas don't even want to accept the fact that some of them are part Black. They don't want to talk about that, right? They say don't call them Black. They go in on us too. It is what it is. See, we really have no allies, but everybody wants us for an ally. That's how that goes.
No matter what happens on August 1st, we wanted to come to our platform and say something that nobody else has said. We would like you guys to know that.
I'm sorry. What's up, nieces? This is Nadine. This is not one of those usual videos where Brandy and I make for commercial purposes. This is one of those videos that I had to make with a heart full of sadness. I know that you have seen videos and videos about the drama happening in African shops where our client get disrespected, insulted, humiliated, and it has been the top one topic going on TikTok. I took my time, I watched it, And I'm here today because deep inside me, my whole soul want to say, I'm sorry. I am truly sorry. And I'm the voice of those that could not reach you guys because I know our platform is very rich. And I hope that you guys should share this video to express how sorry we, the Africans, we, the immigrants, we are, because I do understand we have done so much wrong. Maybe some people before me, I want to join you in the fight, but not like that. I want us to change. This is a wake-up call for all Africans, immigrants in America. We're brothers. Respect is mutual. Because at the end of the day, I don't think Americans hate us. They want that unity. They want to see that in real life. I have done so much community work because it's my way of expressing how you guys are supporting us for the past years. Sometimes words are not expressing what you feel. My actions speak louder than my words. And I have tried to do it for years. Those that follow me on.
I'm laughing at some of you all's comments. You all are so nefarious. Let me say this. Shaya says she's apologizing because she has a 24/7 salon that makes $1 million per year. Okay, likely. Because here's the thing. Don't apologize now. Please don't start apologizing now because there's a boycott. You should have apologized before it got to this. Okay, you should have apologized, beloved, before it got to this point. Now it looks like you're just apologizing because you're going to lose business and money. Okay. DJ Big Six said every knee will bow and every tongue must confess. Exactly. Okay, exactly. All right. Vince I Am, who's African, by the way. Vince I Am says Q in the violin queen. Okay. So listen, and I love Vince I Am, by the way. Like I said, I love everybody, honey. But if you're disrespectful, you need to be taught a lesson. You need to be told about yourself. And you need to be called out on your BS. Okay? And listen, here's the thing. Don't feel bad because I call out everybody who does nefarious things, who is confederate against my people. Even my own people who are confederate against us, the ones that we call the raccoons. I call them out too. Okay? I call them out too. So please pay attention. She Bruce said she's been investigated for human trafficking underage. What? Are you serious? Honey, I hope they don't have that going on in those shops because I told y'all those Asian people had it going on because I reported on that a few years ago. This is all nefarious. This is all nefarious, but let's keep going. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance. I'm going to go to the next TikTok video. I'm just showing different points of view. Here we go. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Likes up, everyone, please. Don't forget to like and share.
Check out this on-point animation from Tim Black TV.
There's an African boycott going on right now because of disrespect to the Black American community. This is about the survival of Black Americans. We're in a competition. Africans and Latinos are fighting Black Americans for resources. Black Americans boycott. Isn't crazy. It's necessary.
Why we got to fight in our own country. That's why we need to vet our own political figures and put them up there because we have people that we put up there that's actually working against us. Okay, word on the street is one of the reasons why they don't want the spotlight on them about these braiding shops is because they're conducting a lot of illegal activities, allegedly forcing women to come over here and work, paying them nothing, abusive towards them. And then this guy is asking Nigerians why they keep constantly getting kicked out of country. But these folks, these immigrants, always got something to say about us, right? Check this out.
This is the reason why Africans are upset about boycotting those braid shops. You're bringing too much attention to them. Some real illegal stuff is going down at these braid shops. You see this modern day slavery from 2002 to 2007. He trafficked 20 hair braiders, all young girls. Even the coast they come from, they call it the slave coast.
I'm gonna need all the Nigerians to come to the front because I'm trying to figure out why all these countries keep kicking you people out. July 9th, America banned you. Y'all can't come here no more. The United Arab Emirates just banned you guys. They banned all Nigerians from the age of 18 to 55. What are y'all doing? Not only that, the people that are 55, you got a 3-month wait list and you got to have 10 racks in your bank. What are y'all doing in these people's countries to where they're kicking y'all out? United Kingdom, y'all can't go over there either. All those other countries love Black Americans. They love Asia, man. But it's a problem right now of Africans going to Asia somewhere, tearing the place up. And the people are saying that they're Black Americans because over there in Asia, they only know us, but it's not us. It's some Africans.
So what was the message, class? We are not only going to gatekeep our music and our culture, we're going to hold responsible those who are not gatekeeping. We're going to hold responsible those who are Black Americans and working against us or just don't give a damn. And we're going to also not continue to allow them to come in our communities and be so comfortable and then think they're going to disrespect us. We are sending a loud message to these disrespectful immigrants, and not only the immigrants, America. You have American Hispanics, you have American Asians, you have white races, and you have American Indians, and you have everybody else in between. We're not tolerating this anymore, Black folks, Black Americans. We're not. We are responsible for how we let these people treat us, and we're not doing it anymore. I don't care what y'all allow to come in your community. I don't care how y'all let people treat y'all. I don't care how much you don't want to rock the boat. I believe we've been giving people too many passes, and that includes white racist America. But you also got to realize that it's a time and place for everything. And this time, and continuing on, is the right time and the right place.
Now, I agree with that. You see, if you're going to boycott the Africans, you need to boycott all of these people who are Confederate against us. You need to boycott all the people who disrespect you when you come in their places of business and all of that. That's what you need to do. Don't just single out the Africans. Okay? Because it's up for everybody as far as I'm concerned. If you disrespecting me, I'm not spending my money with you, period. I don't care if you're FBA and you're disrespectful. I'm not spending my money with you. That's how that goes. That's right. Notorious Sheeper said everybody can get it. Facts. So, the thing is, we all need to try to work together and unify and focus on the prize. Okay. And please don't do anything to further strengthen white supremacy. Because that's what happens when we all are against one another. When we're down here fighting and scratching against one another, acting like crabs in a barrel at the end of the day. Okay. Peacekeeper made a good point, said no unity without respect. Exactly. And respect is earned. Okay. It's not just given. And so if you want respect, then you have to give respect. And that goes for everybody.
Keep seeing all kinds of mess about Black Americans talking about they want to boycott African restaurants, African braiding salons, everything African. And this is just sad. Sad as fuck. White supremacy is not our fault. It is not our fault that we were born in a white supremacist ass world. It is not our fault that we are products of slavery, colonization, white supremacy, and everything, all the fuck shit that Whitey has done on us. It is not our fault. But I promise you, dear Black people all around the world, I promise you this with everything within my body, mind, and spirit. If you unplug from this sad ass world, if you unplug from these white supremacist ideals, from this white supremacist definition of success, intellect, happiness, love, and so on and so forth, you will come to realize that there's nothing in this world worth fighting for. Nothing at all. Not a single damn fucking thing. All these name callings, we're literally Black people from the exact same place. This is nothing but hurt people hurting people. This is nothing but a cry for help, a desperate cry for help. The West is fallen. We did not create the West, not our power. It is unwise for us to fall with the West. Stand clear. Stay in your own tiny little corner. Drink your little tap water, eat your vegetables, and let the people who created the West for what it is fall with it. We don't belong in this shit. There's nothing in this world worth fighting for. We are better than this. Remember, once upon a time, way before the fall, we commanded so much power. Even Jesus himself admitted that we can do more than him. This is a man who raised someone from the dead. This is a man who rose from the dead. This is a man who walked on water. This is a man who turned water into wine. He said we can do more than him. Now look at us fighting each other. We are better than this. Unplug from this white supremacist ass world. You come to realize that we have the same common enemy, the ego. You come to realize that there's nothing in this world fighting for. Nothing at all. Because where we come from, eyes have not seen nor ears heard what our Creator has in store for us. Mucha peace and love.
Okay, so I agree with what he said, except for the part where he said there's nothing worth fighting for in this world. There's a whole lot of things worth fighting for, in my opinion. But I do agree with him. Okay, white supremacy wins. Okay, they win. Divide and conquer. Okay, that is their most prolific strategy. Now, with that all being said, let's keep going. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Claudette said, is he talking about white Jesus? I hope not, aka Caesar Borgia.
Y'all act just like some of these racist ass white people, bro. You Africans that was just telling me, oh, well, we didn't make these businesses for you in the first place. Oh, y'all was just slaves. Y'all just some disrespectful motherfuckers who are just some hypocrites. Because you say that your African businesses were made for each other and not Black Americans. I say, good. That's more reason for me to not spend my FBA money with you. That's more reason for me to try to persuade my FBA brothers and sisters to not spend money with you. That's more reason for us to do our own thing, open our own businesses. Now that I say that, y'all want to complain about it. That don't make sense. Just like when these racist white folks be telling Black people, go back to Africa, leave where you came from, all that bullshit, which is weird because Black people, we were here way before any of these white people got here. When we actually start to do it, y'all want to create obstacles to try to prevent us from doing it. Y'all doing the same thing as these racist motherfuckers. You tell us that you made the business for yourself. We want to go do our own thing and separate from you. And now you're complaining about this shit. That don't make sense. So either you need us or you don't. We both know you do, but I'm going to tell you this right now. Insulting people and bashing the same people for the reason of you being here in the first place, it's not a good look. It's not going to get you what you want.
Okay, I agree with him. Emmanuel said, Tethers would get bit by a zombie and not tell us, LOL. What? Y'all are just so nefarious. Okay, anyway, with that all being said, likes up, everyone, please like and share. Let's go to the next. Here's the thing. Y'all haven't heard united we stand, divided we fall. Okay? We all need to get with the program. Seriously. This is no laughing matter, even though I'm just poking fun. Sometimes you got to laugh to keep from crying. But the bottom line is we all need to be trying to get along. Okay? It's in our best interest. Okay? I really want y'all to marinate on that. It's really in our best interest. Just think about how powerful and strong we could be if all of the Black Americans or FBA, whatever you call yourselves, Africans, Trinidadians, Jamaicans, Haitians, okay? All of the heavily drenched and melanated people around the world, if we all united, we would be a force to be reckoned with. And the oppressors know this, okay? They know it. This is why they put out stuff to spew, to sow seeds of division. This is why. We're all sitting up here talking about boycotting Africans, and the Africans are talking trash about us because of who? There's one group of people that taught them that, and that taught us that. I want y'all to pay attention. Okay, this should just come from nowhere. Okay, but let me go to the next video. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Leonard said the Africa whisperers are delusional. France Condi said, why boycott Africans before boycotting all the non-black businesses that flood black neighborhoods? Makes no sense. That's exactly what I said, beloved. That's what I said at the top of the hour. Okay. I mean, if y'all not going to boycott those Asians that be beating the hell out of y'all when y'all go in their nail salons, I don't know what to tell you. Because that's the first order of business, in my opinion. Okay. That is the first order of business. The blatant disrespect.
No Africans. I'm sorry. We are not boycotting our brothers and sisters, especially if y'all.
Black Americans, we have an issue. We have another Sambo. They coming out the woodwork. Whenever we try to come together and do something, our own people go against us for things like, I still want to get my hair braided. The bigger issue, like preserving our lineage, preserving our culture, not getting recolonized by these people. None of that matters. The only thing that matters is we need our hair braided. Crazy. So I checked her page out, and she has a direct tie, obligation, loyalty to the continent of Africa. She living in Senegal doing business over there. So of course she's gonna get online and tell us support Africans. FBA is wrong. Black Americans is wrong. She got her comments going crazy with Africans. There's so many flags in them comments cheering her on. And it's crazy because on another post I seen a African say, and y'all want to boycott us? Okay, we're doctors also. He said we're the doctors. He threatened us. So this shit is beyond disrespect. You see what I'm saying? So we have to actually double down and pay attention to these people that have agendas. When you see their pages, just go ahead to their page and see. I guarantee you, either they got a African grandparent, or they got a husband, or they some kind of way tied, or they just Pan-Africanism out. And that Pan-Africanism shit is dead. You hear me? That shit for the birds. The amount of disrespect that none of these motherfuckers would say if they was in my presence or any black person presence. This is the shit that they say online. So all this online chatter is going to spill over, it's going to spill over into on the bricks, and we're going to see about it then. Because there's 50 million of us and we deep, and it's only about 3 million of them, I guess. I don't know. But my whole point is this lady is cold-blooded, has an agenda, and she comes to, I just want to show y'all how they come to the internet and with their agenda to make all of us compliant when we try to stand on business for something, making it about hair and all that when it's not about hair. So just pay attention. Let me know in the comments.
Okay, so clearly he wants all the smoke. Okay, I don't necessarily agree with him, but I can see his frustration. At the end of the day, listen, all of this divisiveness needs to stop, period. Okay, it just needs to stop. Everybody out here looking crazy. Everybody's out here looking crazy. Okay, please pay attention. FBA Ronnie said because they have positions of power and block us on legislation. Yes. And let me say this too. This is another point I want to bring up. How many of you who are FBA, how many of you notice once in the chat, how many of you notice that when they cast people to play our ancestors, like Harriet Tubman, Nat Turner and things like that, when they do these slave movies, when they have roles like Judas and the Black Messiah, that they get Africans to play our ancestors. Do y'all notice that? Do you all notice that? Panther Jones said, I love you, Queen, but I disagree with you on this one. That's fine, beloved. I tell you all the time, you do not have to agree with me, beloved. You do not have to agree with me. And here's the thing. Just because I don't choose to boycott the Africans, just because I don't want to have, I don't have hate for the Africans or whatever, or anybody else, specifically anybody who looks like me. At the end of the day, I understand why some of you do. Okay, I absolutely get it. The disrespect is just at an all-time high, and people are sick and tired of it. I'm sick and tired of it too. I'm just not going to play into the white supremacist hands. That's just what I'm not going to do. Okay? Because I see the bigger picture. But I absolutely get it, beloved. Okay? But here's the thing. The reason they pick people who are not of our lineage to play our ancestors is because they don't want us to become emboldened, or for us to basically take on that energy, that spirit. You know, spirit is an energy. Okay. So they don't want us to take on the spirit or the energy of our ancestors who fought back, who were revolutionaries. They don't want that to enter our minds. And here's how you know that. Because John Amos, who was African American, when John Amos played Kunta Kinte, played the older version of Kunta Kinte in the movie Roots, and I've told you all this before, he said that the spirit of his ancestors came over him. Okay, something happened to him on that set, okay, that changed him and changed his mindset. And you see, that's what they don't want happening to us. They will get people who have no ties to this land, who are not descended from slavery, and they'll get them to play those who fought against slavery, or those who were enslaved, or those who led their people to freedom from slavery, like Cynthia Erivo when she played Harriet Tubman. Like the guy, I can't remember his name at the moment, the guy who played in Get Out, who also played in the movie with about Fred Hampton, Judas and the Black Messiah. See, they do stuff like that on purpose. Because you should say, why aren't they just getting African Americans to play these African American characters? Okay, these African American heroes. Why aren't they getting us to play it? Because they do not want us to channel the spirit of our ancestors. Daniel Kaluuya. Thank you, Vince. Thank you, beloved. They don't want us to channel that energy. Okay? And then take on that mindset and then decide, wait a minute, let us just start another Black Panther Party. Okay? Now we have a new Black Panther Party. I'm not talking about them because to me, they're infiltrated. And they're nowhere near the original Black Panther Party. Now that's just my opinion. But anyway, with that all being said, let's go to the next video. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
First, African Americans are going to be boycotting African businesses. And, you know, I hear they don't want to be called African Americans, they want to be called Black Americans. And honestly, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Like, what kind of self-hate is this that we have to now? I mean, I know this war has been brewing for a long time between African Americans and Africans who are in America. And it's really ridiculous. And first of all, this is also the real definition of racism, because it's discrimination against the people. So basically what the white people are doing to you is what you guys are doing to us as Africans. So you want to boycott all African businesses just because somebody had a bad experience. I mean, you guys are not boycotting Lululemon. You guys are not boycotting Target. You guys are not boycotting all those businesses that you go to and they make you feel like you're a criminal. They follow you around because they think you'll steal. You're not boycotting those businesses. No, you're not. But you're going to boycott African businesses just because you had a bad experience. This is ridiculous. I mean, when you talk about the devil at work, this is the devil. This is the devil trying to come in, because at the end of the day, well, you look at me, I am Kenyan American. I am a Kenyan who has since become an American citizen. So I'm Kenyan American, but you can't even tell, you can't differentiate me from an African American or a Black American until I open my mouth and you actually hear that I have an accent. Why are we fighting against each other? Why are we united? Why are you fighting us? I mean, this is ridiculous. If the enemy is at work, the enemy comes in to steal, kill, and destroy. And that is what is happening. Like, really ridiculous. I'm not hearing of, you know, Chinese Americans boycotting Chinese businesses or Italian Americans boycotting Italian businesses. Why is it that African Americans want to boycott African businesses? And also the fact is, you guys are not even, I mean, why don't you go ahead and start today? Because African businesses are mostly supported by us Africans. And that's the truth. You guys, you guys eat elsewhere, shop elsewhere, do business elsewhere. I mean, go ahead and do that. I don't think it's really going to affect African businesses. But the fact that this is happening in 2025, this is sad, very sad. The self-hate.
Okay, so I don't know how he derived self-hate from that, because I literally don't think it has anything to do with self-hate. I don't think it has anything to do with self-hate. It's just people are tired of being disrespected. Okay, and here's the thing. Here's the thing. I want you all to pay attention because I have talked about how we're not boycotting the racist white people who disrespect us, the Asians and whatnot. But let me say this. Some of the people who do want to boycott the Africans probably feel like it hits different when you're disrespected by people who almost look like you. Okay? They may feel like it hits different because we expect some of the white folk to be racist. We know this. Okay? It's a historical fact. All right? Their ancestors had our ancestors enslaved. So some of them are going to always look down on us because we were enslaved. And also, some of the Africans look down on us because we were enslaved. Because I've heard them say it. Oh, you all were slaves. Our ancestors were kings and queens. This is what some of them have said to us, making a mockery out of it. Now, Lacey says, or Lelcy, I don't know how to say your name, beloved. I hope I said it right. Says, they created a video with Harriet Tubman twerking and Dr. King with gold teeth. You see how disrespectful that is? You see how they disrespect our ancestors, but do you ever see Black people disrespecting their ancestors like Stephen Biko? Okay. Nelson Mandela. All right. You see how they disrespect Harriet Tubman twerking? This is all so sad. Patrice Lumumba. Do we disrespect these people? No, we don't. No, we don't. But they don't have a problem disrespecting our ancestors. Okay? People of our lineage, our heroes and heroines. They don't have a problem doing that. Dr. King with gold teeth, really? I'm glad I didn't see that. So with that all being said, Elizabeth says, sorry, Queen, but they are all our enemies. It makes no sense in joining our enemies. Africans are our enemies. Only Black people need to come together. That's it. Well, I disagree. I absolutely disagree. And I don't view Africans as our enemies. Some of them don't fool with us, and some of them probably are our enemies. But some of our own people are our enemies too. Do you think Candace Owens is down with us? See, this is what y'all need to pay attention to. See, we can't have selective outrage. We shouldn't have selective. We can have it, but you shouldn't. Okay, you shouldn't have selective outrage at the end of the day. Okay? At the end of the day, you shouldn't have selective outrage because we have some of our own Black people who are Confederate against us, who don't like us. Candace Owens, she speaks a lot of racist rhetoric. She says the same things that the wanton supremacist says. All right? Do you think she's down for us? Of course not. Of course not. And she's not the only one. There's plenty of them. Herschel Walker. Okay? So at the end of the day, there are some Africans who don't like us. There are some Haitians and Trinidadians and Jamaicans who don't like us. But there's also some African Americans who don't like other African Americans. And why? Because they suffer from self-hate. They don't even like themselves. Okay? They don't even like themselves at the end of the day. Panther Jones said FBA is different. They is making a lot of noise. Herplex said Roland Martin is too. Okay, so with that all being said, somebody said Candace Owens is an anchor baby. and called her a tether. Well, T. Cope says a lot of African countries are still in the European tit, so they still love their massa. Mimi Ruff says it's the respect. Exactly. Okay, exactly. Okay, but let's continue. Likes up, everyone, please like and share.
First of all, I'm going to say thank you for commenting, and I will elaborate on this. You are not entirely wrong. I think we Africans need to use this opportunity and actually sit back and think of what we have done that is triggering this with our African American brothers and sisters. And you may not like me right now. You may not like the fact that I'm calling you my brother and sister, but you are. African brothers and sisters, listen. We have to take ownership of what we have done or said or made our brothers and sisters to feel that is making them say these things. What they're saying is not coming out of thin air. It has been provoked by something or their experiences. Brothers and sisters that come from the same father and mother fight. So why wouldn't we fight? But this fight is an opportunity for us to sit back and rethink, find our faults, try to find resolution, try to see how we can accommodate each other. Look, stone me if you like, but it is what it is. We need to stand on truth, put our egos aside, because they're already fighting an uphill battle. And if we, as we are fighting this uphill battle, we fight amongst each other, there is no moving forward. That is my 2 cents. He who has ears, let him hear. I'm just saying.
Okay, I agree with that lady. I agree with her. At the end of the day. And listen, as you can hear, and I don't think that she's just saying that just because of the boycott pending or whatever. I think that's really was heartfelt. Now, that's just my opinion. Okay, Jay Monroe says, love you, Queen. And I love you right back, beloved. Okay, I absolutely do. Now, let's see what Vince I Am says. Vince I Am says, we have enemies within our communities worldwide that work for the enemy. They want to maintain the global oppressive systems that must all fall. Exactly. Exactly. Okay, and the main way for them to do that is to keep us arguing and bickering amongst each other. Okay, that's how that works for them. The only one who wins is white supremacy when this all happens. We're not going to win. Okay, we're absolutely not.
Seems like everybody was so nervous. And she was like, no, we just want to make sure we service you right so that you don't go put us on TikTok and blast us and try to ruin our business. And I'm just like, wow. So y'all really out here giving these poor aunties pressure. So I just switch up my accent and I said, auntie, I'm not going to do any of that. I'm so sorry. Because, of course, Africans, they think that I'm American because of how I talk. But Americans, they know that I'm African because of how I come through. So it is just so funny. So the ones I want to boycott, I know that you are the one that's bringing trouble.
Now everybody want to start crying and shit. Now don't start crying now, bro. We told y'all thought that shit was sweet. You thought we was joking. We was still Akata. We still didn't have no culture. Y'all doubled down. As a matter of fact, when we told you that we didn't like y'all service, or our women or the young ladies didn't like your service, you feel me? Y'all just started clowning us and saying we didn't have no power. What culture do we have? Y'all doubled down on the ignorant shit. You doubled down on the disrespectful shit. You doubled down on the bad service. But now that y'all...
Okay, I stopped that because of the music. Don't want any copyright claims, which I may already have one. But so basically, he's just going in. He's like, now y'all are just afraid you're going to lose money from your businesses. Okay, that's how he feels about it. Well, some of them absolutely are only speaking out because they're afraid of losing business. Now, this lady right here, this is a 10-minute long video. I'm not going to play this whole thing. I'm going to play some of it. But this lady right here, I do believe that she deleted her first video because she was called out, but she said something that I thought was real crazy. She was the one who said something about telling the doctors, the African doctors, not to boycott us, basically. Okay. So anyway, like I said, I'm not gonna play this whole thing because it's like 10 minutes.
Consensus of look our ass up because we don't want the white team man to tell us what to do. That's why we work. That's why we don't want to live on the system. So if you're jealous and you angry about that, go do the job that we do. Go to school. That's all you need to do.
See, first of all, let me tell you why she sounds crazy. See, it's people like this woman right here that tick me off, okay? This is the type of person I'm talking about. I'm not talking about all Africans. I'm not talking about Jamaicans, Trinidadians. I'm talking about the ones that have this mindset. She's sitting here telling us to go to school as if we don't go to school. I would like her to know that a few years ago, and I want to say it was between 2018 and 2020, when you did the statistics and looked up the research, it said the most educated people in the United States were African-American women, ma'am. Okay. And then she talks about jealousy. This has nothing to do with jealousy. You see, that is the foolishness that people say. If you treat me disrespectfully when I come in your business and I choose to not go there and I say I'm going to boycott and tell other people that I know not to go there, that's not because of jealousy. That's because of anger, because of the disrespect. This lady doesn't like Black Americans. I can tell by the tone of her voice. I can always tell the ones that have angst for us. Okay. I can always tell by the demeanor and by the words they speak and how they speak them. Okay. Just Joy says she's been fired. Well, good. Because what she said was criminal as far as I'm concerned. Okay. At the end of the day, she sounds real crazy. And then talking about jealous. And if we want to work and go to school and they don't want the white man to be over them or whatever, but the white man is over you. What are you talking about? That's how you got here, through the white man. That's how you got here. But let's continue.
I saw your video where you're calling for them to boycott African restaurant and boycott African salon. Listen, plus you, minus you, African businesses still gonna go. Like I told you. Like I told you in my previous video. Plus you, Black America, minus you, Black America, African businesses are still going to go. You're not the only people in America. In fact, we got more white people eating African food and doing braiding.
Let me just stop her right there. Let me just stop her right there. You're right. We're not the only people in America. That's common sense. Tell us something we don't know. But I tell you what we are. We're the ones who control the spending power. Okay. Do your research. Anybody doesn't believe me? It is African Americans that control the spending power. Okay. We control the spending power, period. Which is crazy because we're the main ones who don't think about building generational wealth, but instead we give our money to other people and allow them to build their generational wealth, even when they're disrespectful. And I'm not just talking about Africans. I'm talking about the Asians, the Arabs, the Latinos, the racist white folk. I'm talking about all of them. They build their generational wealth off of us, specifically those who sell these expensive name brand clothing lines that all of these Black people want to wear and can't live without. Okay, you don't realize that when you're buying name brands, you're branding yourself just like they branded your ancestors. Your ancestors were literally branded and had the master's names put on them. And now you're putting the master's names on your own self by buying these name brands. Why do you think they literally call it name brands? Because they're branding you again. Okay, it's mental slavery that some of us are still in. This lady right here is delusional because nobody's jealous of Africans. What do we need to be jealous of Africans for? At the end of the day, people are upset because of the disrespect. Okay, that's what that is. But let's continue. Let me just let her cook. Likes up, everyone. Please don't forget to like and share.
more than you African. Even African among ourselves, we do more braiding, just so you know. So braiding is not just thing, it's African thing. So that tells you that we African braid. And we got over 4 million of us here. More than 4 million of us here. So that tells you, plus you, minus you, our business will still go on. But if we boycott you, you in shit. Yeah, you will be in shit. Because guess what? When we boycott you from going to our restaurant, you got to learn to cook or you got to go eat Madonna shit that they got to give you. If we boycott you coming to our saloons.
Hold up. Did she just say if we boycott their restaurants, we got to cook or go to McDonald's? Girl, please sit down somewhere. It's not like we don't have restaurants too. And then she said it's over 4 million of them. How many African Americans do you think there is? There's 47 million of us. Okay, there's 47 million of us in the United States. There's 47 million people who identify as Black or African American. Let me just pull up the receipts after this because she sounds real crazy. Okay? She sounds real crazy. Did she say we had to eat at McDonald's? Girl, I know you're playing. I know you're playing. Okay? But let's continue. And by the way, African Americans can braid hair too, because I know I can. All right.
We will still make money because African will support each other. But you don't support each other. That's the first thing. When we ask all the caregivers, all the doctors, all the nurses, if we decide to text each other across the United States and choose that we want to make a phone call and say we calling out, boy, you sister, you got no idea what's going to happen. So you Black American, you picking a fight that you can win. Because I can tell you in this fight, oh yeah, the Puerto Rican gonna join us. Oh, in this fight, the Mexican gonna join us. So you on your own.
Is that what she really thinks? First of all, what fight? There is no fight. She's acting like we're about to all go to war. Talking about who's gonna join. Did y'all hear this? Talking about texting and calling the rest of the African doctors and nurses and all of that. So we can get sick and die so we can't get any treatment like they're on other doctors and nurses, ma'am. But at the end of the day, she's a whole idiot. Okay? She really thinks that the Mexicans or anybody else is going to join them. Girl, they're not. They're not. I guarantee you they're not. And I'm not saying they're going to join us, but they're not going to join you either. Okay? And this isn't about a war. We're not putting up fists and throwing blows. We're not getting guns and standing you on that side and us on this side like a civil war. That's not what it is. You see how they talk about violence? Oh, we're talking about is some of us wanting to boycott. Okay, why is that rubbing her so much so the wrong way? And then she says that they don't need our money and they'll support each other's business, but that's a lie. That's a whole lie. And I'm going to tell you why that's a lie. Because most African women don't even wear braids. African Americans more so wear braids. Many of the African women, they have conformed to the status quo. They like their hair straight. They like their hair dyed and fried and laid to the side. That's what most of them wear their hair. Okay? Because most of them, they imitate the colonizers. Am I right? Am I right? Okay? Am I right? So, lady, we all know you can sit here and paint whatever narrative you want, but the bottom line is the main people who go to Africans to get their hair braided are African American women. And that's just a fact. And she knows it. Don't try to gaslight us. Don't try to use reverse psychology. It's not working. We're smarter than that.
You are on your own. And in fact, most of the people that do braiding are Mexican and Puerto Rican, not Black American. Like I said, you on your own. There is a reason why you're Black American. You don't get along with Puerto Rican. You don't get along with Mexican. You don't get along with Chinese. You don't get along with
That's all lies. It's not that we don't get along with them. These people, some of them don't get along with us. It is not. I want you all to pay attention to how she is trying to paint the narrative. It's not that we don't get along with them. It's that some of those people don't get along with us. And you, Miss Lady, should be asking yourself why that is. Okay? Because we know why it is. Okay? I want y'all to pay attention. I want y'all to pay attention. She's talking about we don't get along with Mexicans. We don't get along with China. No, they don't get along with us. And they don't get along with you either. That's why they come to your country, to the motherland. They come to the continent of Africa and build businesses that you are not even allowed to come in your own land. That's how that works. So if she wants to sit here and fool herself into thinking that they're going to take up arms and side with her against us, she sounds crazy. Okay, first of all, this isn't about war. It's about a boycott. Okay, some people are just fed up. And people like her are the reason some of y'all are fed up. Now, just like I said, I'm not going to boycott them, but at the end of the day, I see absolutely why some of you want to, because of people like her. But I just want you to remember that all Africans don't think like her, and they damn sure don't speak like her, and they're not as delusional as she clearly is. Okay?
And you also don't get along with the white team because you have an attitude problem.
Oh, I want y'all to pay attention. She said we have an attitude problem. You know what's interesting about that? You know, a lot of these different races and ethnic groups seem to think that African Americans, FBA, that we have attitude problems. It's not that we have attitude problems. It's that we just don't take bullshit like some people do. We're not docile about it. We stand up and step out and speak up for ourselves, and we demand things that we want, like those reparations, like tangibles. That's what we do. Now, if that to you means that we have an attitude, well, then so be it. We don't have an attitude. We're just tired of being tired, okay? And we want what's coming to us, period. All right? See, this is why people like her would get a job in corporate America before somebody like me. Because I'm not putting up with bullshit from anybody. I don't care who you are. Okay? I've sued corporations. But somebody like her, she would sit there wanting so desperately to have a close proximity to whiteness that she wouldn't say anything, and she would put up with whatever was dished out to her. She would never become a revolutionary. She would never be militant minded, and she would never speak up. And she would never voice her disdain about racism and discrimination that she too deals with. Just not on a scale of the way we deal with it. Okay, that's why they're looked at more favorably by the government in the United States and by the status quo, because they're less likely to stand up against the system. They're less likely to go against authority, and we're not. Okay, that's what she needs to understand. Now, she's got all this smoke for us. She's got all this smoke for us. She's talking all this crazy crap to us. But what about the people who've taken over the motherland, built their own infrastructures over there, stealing all the minerals, all the diamonds, all the gold? What about those people? Where's the smoke for them? Talking about us. Where's the smoke for them? Okay? And then again, let me just reiterate how they will disrespect those of them like her with that mind, will disrespect our ancestors, will disrespect our heroines and heroes and our leaders whom we revere. We don't do that to them. Okay? We don't do that to them. Look how so many of us, Black Americans, stand behind Ibrahim Traore. Okay? The leader of Burkina Faso. We don't disparage him, but they'll disparage our leaders. That's what they'll do. I just want y'all to pay attention. This lady sounds crazy as hell, but let me continue.
You think everybody owe you something? Nobody owe you shit. You went through your own slavery here. We went through our own slavery, and we are still going through the slavery even up to today.
I'm sorry, when were they enslaved? When were they enslaved?
Because when we have a leader who tried to stand up for us, he got analyzed by your leaders, your superpower leaders.
Oh, so now they're our leaders. Ha! You talking about the Westerners that come over there and run stuff? They're not our leaders. She sounds crazy. Do y'all hear this? Do y'all hear this? She's talking about our leaders. No, those people are not our leaders. Okay. Trump is not our leader. Trump is the leader of America, the corporation, the United States of. He's not our leader. He's not FBA or Black Americans or African Americans leader. Okay. None of these presidents are. We have our own leaders. All right. With that all being said, do y'all hear this? She sounds real crazy.
Yes. And in return, they say, oh, come to America. Oh, come here. We'll give you refugee status. If they were allowing our leaders to do for us, we would not be coming over here.
If your leaders, most of them were not corrupt, you wouldn't have to come over here. Your own leaders are corrupt. So while they're sitting there making images of Harriet Tubman twerking and Dr. King wearing gold teeth, they need to be asking themselves why so many of their leaders are corrupt. Why so many of their leaders allow foreign nations and lands to come over there and take all of their resources. Okay? And keep them living poorly in poor conditions when it's the richest land in the world. Okay? That's what she needs to be talking about. Nikisha said, but check this. She is a full Trump supporter, Queen. You know what? I'm not surprised. I am absolutely not surprised, beloved. And doesn't she sound crazy? She's talking about our leaders come over there and take out their leaders when they try to do something. Most of their leaders don't try to do a damn thing. Okay? Shout out to Ibrahim Traoré for what he's trying to do and for all the other African leaders who tried to do things. Okay? And who may have been taken out, imprisoned, and all of that because they stood up and tried to have revolutionaries or revolutions. But at the end of the day, a whole Trump supporter, I am not surprised. That's who she needs to be talking about, coming over there, taking out her leaders, people like Trump, these United States presidents, not our leaders, honey. We don't consider them our leaders.
So Black America, like I said again, you are on the right path. Because you see, I can get along with the Puerto Rican. Oh yes, I can get along with the Mexican. But you already have a fight with the Puerto Rican. You already have a fight with the Mexican. Now you want to add us to this? We are your last bus stop. We are your last bus stop. And this message is for those of you Black American that are attacking African. And this message,
oh wow. See how she's painting a narrative? Now we're attacking them. I'm sorry. It sounds like she's attacking us. Okay, it sounds like she's attacking us. AJ said, mic drop, Queen. Thank you. She's the one attacking us. Didn't she just say that they would make phone calls and text the doctors and nurses and tell them not to treat us? Isn't that what she said? I'm sorry, but I feel attacked, ma'am. Nobody's attacking you. If us boycotting you feels like an attack, then that means that you absolutely need our damn money, which you claim you don't need because your own people are going to support you. And if your own people were actually going to support you so much so that you wouldn't miss our coins, then ma'am, you wouldn't have made this video. Okay? You wouldn't have made this video, and especially you wouldn't have made it with such disdain and anger. But let's let her cook.
It's not referring to you. If you are
Sounds
a Black
crazy.
American who is not involved into this fight, this is not for you. This is not for you at all. This message is precisely for those FBA on TikTok calling for them to boycott African Salon. Listen, we can boycott you whatever way we want. We can choose the day. One thing we know, you don't communicate. And one thing you don't know, we African, we communicate, regardless of where we come from. The entire 54 countries in the United States, all the citizens communicate. When Gambia is celebrating her independence, Liberia, Nigerian, everybody will go there, we interact. So it is easy for us to get a message across. You don't want us boycotting because if we boycott you, we will not let you into our grocery store. Oh yeah, we will not serve you gasoline from an African gas station. We will tell the
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Say what now? Say what now? She said they won't let us come into their grocery stores and their gas stations. Hold on. One's in the chat if you shop on a regular at an African owned grocery store or gas station. One's in the chat. I want to see this. I want to see this. I'm just so done with her. Please put ones in the chat. Okay, please put ones in the chat. This lady is out of her mind. She is literally out of her mind. Okay, but let's let her keep cooking because she's going in on us, honey. She is literally going in on us.
Indian, listen, you don't want to pick a fight with legal immigrants. Okay? Because when you're picking a fight with legal immigrants, just know the Chinese will be on our side, the Indian will be on our side. You're not going to have anything. Even if the Chinese decide to stay neutral and the Indian choose to stay neutral, only we African, only us can deal with you to the fullest. We're not going to do no pew-pew. No, we're not going to fight. Because where we come from in Africa, we know that doing things the harsh way doesn't pay no result. We can react quietly. When you come to our salon, we say no hair. Yes, when you go to the doctor, he will tell you, oh, I already finished seeing my customers. The nurses and stuff you come across, all of them are African. Yeah, Jamaican and African too. Yeah, Trinidadians are African. Haitis are African. So you calling us, you want to pick a fight, you're not ready for this war. I'm telling you, don't keep on doing it. Talking about reparation. Do you know how long Africa have been fighting for her reparation? You think we care for what happened to you here about your reparation with the US? No. What we're fighting for with the UN is different from what you're fighting for in the US. It's not the same. And so we don't care about your reparation.
I like her nerve, honey. I guess she told us. I guess she told us. Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? I guess she told us, honey. Please pay attention. Well, let's see what happened after she did all that talking. Okay, she had a whole lot to say. She had a whole lot to say. But let's get into it because here's what happened next. 20 minutes later.
Got online with her whole chest telling Africans, Caribbeans, and whoever was listening to try to counterattack what we said we're doing, and had the nerves to tell or suggest that African doctors working in our country would stop treating Black Americans. That is a whole crime. We could have brought the whole medical industry down to their knees if they were stupid enough to listen to this child. So now she got the Freedmen, what are they called? The Freeman Nation. I think I heard about them some time ago. I think they're like rebooting the Freedmen Bureau that was erected after slavery. And it really, well, it was a good idea, but they ended up, a lot of people that was running it, white folks ended up literally stealing millions of dollars from freed men and women. Yeah, do some research, check that out. Or I might do a video on it. But anyway, the American Freedmen Legal Fund jumped in on that ass. I told y'all need to start writing these checks that your ass can't cash. They said, we have received all her work information. We are moving forward. We now have full documentation and her employment and professional affiliations. Because of her actions, Freedmen patients are being placed at risk. This is not only unethical, it is a direct threat to our community's health and safety. Let this be clear. If you choose to attack freedmen while serving in institutions that operate within the U.S., understand that you are accountable under the very systems you work for, idiot. Do not call for war. They didn't say that. I said that. Do not call for war while collecting paychecks under the protections of this country. You cannot work in public service and harm the public. We are moving forward with a formal complaint. Every policy, every license, every oath, we will hold you to it. Support the American Freedmen Legal Fund with a donation. And they are on Twitter. I'll post their link in the description of the short. Yeah, these people, you got to think about it. What happened when these people came to this country and got on a high horse or got on something and thought they was actually running things? I really do believe they thought Hispanics, Asians, Africans, Indians, they really thought. I don't know what these white racists told them, but they believed it.
Y'all heard that? How cracked is her face? How cracked is her face? That's what she gets for sounding so stupid and all that hateful rhetoric that she was spewing and talking about wars and, oh, we're not going to get pew-pews. Why are you even bringing up pew-pews? Notice that she's the second one of them that brought up guns. We didn't say anything about guns. We didn't say anything about war. A boycott. That's nonviolent. A boycott. But yet, they don't need our money? Yeah, you do. You do. Because if you didn't need our money, you would not be sitting here saying that we're attacking you, that we're going to war with you, talking about guns and all that. You wouldn't be saying any of that. Okay, I want y'all to pay attention. Okay? I'm sorry, that had to hit where it hurts. And they're talking about all the African countries coming up against us and all this and that, and they all text each other and stay, connected and all of that. Well, here's the thing. Let's talk about the Ghanaians and the Nigerians. Okay, let's talk about that. Why don't we? Because let's not act like all the Africans just get along. Okay, let's not act like it. All right. The relationship between the Nigerians and the Ghanaians became sour for various reasons. The main reason is under former Ghanaian Prime Minister Kofi Abriva Busia's under his aliens compliance order. Nigerians, among other immigrants, were forced to leave Ghana as they made up a significant percentage of Ghana's large undocumented population. Lady, what the hell are you talking about? They need to deport her for making those threats, talking about telling doctors not to treat us. They need to deport her. Okay? We need to call for her deportation right now. Okay? Where's Trump when you need him? All right? That's all I'm saying. She sound real crazy. See, that's what I'm talking about right there. That's what I'm tired of. Okay. Now, and remember how I told you the other folk were going to start wondering what the hell's going on with Black people and Africans and why are we all Root Tracker said call ICE. Okay. Okay. Vince I am said we don't get along within our own countries. Okay. And Vince is African. And that's what I'm saying. We ourselves, African Americans, we don't even all get along. There's always going to be some people that don't like us, and there's always going to be some people that we don't like. The bottom line is collectively, okay, we need to be trying to get along and mend our differences and stop having colonized minds and stop spewing foolishness and try to work together. Now, I don't see me working with somebody like her with that mindset and her delusional talking points. I don't see me working with somebody like her anytime soon. But for those of us, or those of our brothers and sisters who are Black immigrants from other regions of the world that are willing to work with us, that are down with us, and that don't have a problem with us, those are the ones we should be working with. See, you're not going to be able to reach everybody. That's never going to happen. We're not even going to be, sadly, we're not even going to be able to reach all of our own people because some of them are just raccoons and they'll stay and remain raccoons because they're full of self-hate. They're full of self-hate. But at the end of the day, those who want to work with us, those are the ones we should be supporting. Those are the ones we should be working with. Okay? Don't boycott Africans, boycott the disrespectful ones who don't appreciate the opportunities that our ancestors gave them, who don't appreciate the fact that we have been supporting of them. The ones that think like her, don't support them. That's what you do. Boycott people with that mindset. no matter what race or ethnic group they belong to. That's what you should do. But the people who are like-minded and who respect us and show respect when it's given, don't boycott them. They didn't do anything. And everybody doesn't have that foolish mindset. Okay? Now let's go to this next video, because this is exactly what I knew was going to happen. You see, when you have all of these melanated people going against each other, which is sad, then you have other people wanting to find out what the hell's going on.
Between African Americans. What is going on with Africans between African Americans?
None of your business. In other words, black folk business is black folk business. To make it simpler, don't worry about the drama happening in a certain community that you're not a part of. We as black people, especially Afro-Americans, have been addressing the diaspora wars happening within our community, and that's for us to mitigate. And even if you're just genuinely curious, you asking that question is lighting a fire that we're already trying to extinguish. There are white people in the United Kingdom who don't care for white people in the United States. Inquire about that. There are people in France that don't like the way people in Canada speak French. Inquire about that. Across the world in different diasporas, there are many differences that groups have that stem from misunderstandings, but that's for those groups to figure out. And contrary to popular belief, there are a lot of Africans that don't have a problem with African Americans and vice versa, so don't generalize. And that's coming from an African American who's actually been to Africa, hence the shirt. So if it's not your community, don't worry about it.
Well, I guess he told him. Okay, I guess he told him. Anyway, listen, bottom line is, I'm about to conclude this broadcast, but I just want you all, to realize the bigger picture. Okay, the bigger picture is this. We all have to live here in this country. Okay, we all need to be trying to work together, support one another, and all of that, so that we can be stronger. United we stand, divided we fall. And we need not give any more power to wanton supremacy, okay, than they already have. All right? That's what we don't need to do. So with that being said, we don't have to get along with every single African or every single African American. We don't have to get along with everybody. We're not going to. That's just the way it is. Okay? That's just the way it is. At the end of the day, that's right. About damn time says all skin folk ain't kinfolk. Exactly. But like I said, the ones who want to work with us, that are willing to work with us and be respectful, and we to them, then those are the ones we should support. The ones with that type of colonized mindset, who speaks all the foolish rhetoric, who says all these threatening things and acts as though we're going to war and taking up arms when nobody said anything about that. Lady, you're clearly painting a whole narrative and acting like we're hating on you and saying we need to go to school as if we don't. Yeah, I don't want to deal with people like her. That's the type of person I'm sick and tired of. Okay, that's the kind of person I'm sick and tired of. And I'm not going to deal with anybody like her. Period. Okay? Fusion says Esau needs to mind his business. Perplex says, love you, Queen. I appreciate you. And I love you right back, beloved. Okay, now let's go to this last video. And then we're going to be out of here. And I believe I'm going to come back later.
So good morning. I'm responding to another video. Like I always say,
Okay. I watched the original video multiple times. And the first time I watched it, I was like, I know she didn't just say that. And then I watched it again. And I was like, oh, and I watched it again. I was like, oh shit, she really did say that. Now, I'm up here giggling when I watched it about the third or fourth time, because I know you didn't know this when you said it. When you decided to say, since FBA's Black Americans want to boycott African hair salons, you know what? We're going to go to war. We're going to go to war. You want to go to war with us? You want to go to war with Africa? Okay. Then you decided to say, I'm going to get the African doctors and nurses and healthcare providers to deny Black Americans healthcare services. You want to go to war? That's what you pretty much were saying. That's what you said, actually. So, one is not illegal, and another one is extremely illegal. Not giving your hard-earned money to a hair braider because you did not like their service, so you're going to go to somebody else. Guess what? That is not illegal. denying Black Americans healthcare services in America simply because they're Black. That is extremely illegal. And you suggested it on TikTok for millions of people to see. And the fact that that young man decided to screen grab your video and he provided everything that needs to be provided for people to know that you yourself. And then you had the audacity to delete the video. I'm assuming you deleted it. And talking about he didn't provide the full context. Oh no, my love. He provided every bit of what you said. And legally, I hope you get everything that you deserve. Legally, I hope you get everything you deserve. Because guess what? There are Black American children, Black American disabled people, Black American elderly people who get provided health care every single day by not just African doctors, not just Indian doctors, not just Black American doctors, not just white doctors, doctors from all around the world that immigrated here, as well as those of us who've been here. And the fact that you decided to say that you wanted to get all of African doctors to deny us health care. Black Americans have been boycotting in this country for a very long time. And when we boycott, we know the rules of boycotting. We know the legal and the illegal things. We know the legal things to do and the illegal things not to do. Obviously, you don't know anything about boycotting, because if you did, you wouldn't have suggested something highly illegal on camera. So, I also want to say this. Coming on here on this video trying to garner sympathy and empathy by telling us what happened to you in your home country and the reason why you fled your homeland to come over here, that is not going to garner you empathy and sympathy, my love. It's not. Because all you're trying to do is sugarcoat the fuck shit that you did in their original video. So, I hope legally you get the karma you deserve. I hope legally somebody do get a lawyer and charge you criminally.
Okay, absolutely. Because listen, I want you all to pay attention to the hateful things that some of them said about us. Now, some of us talked about boycotting them. There's no harm in that. And here's the thing too. I was just thinking, they said that we didn't boycott the racist people. Yeah, we did. Our ancestors did during civil rights. They boycotted the Montgomery bus boycott, one of the most famous and productive boycotts ever. Okay? They had to be taught a lesson, and they learned that lesson well. Okay? That's what they did. They learned that lesson well. So with that all being said, sometimes people have to learn a lesson. So the people like that hateful lady who's talking about going to war, telling doctors not to service us, and the other one who's talking about doing black magic and witchcraft, talking about we're going to have strokes and the earth's going to swallow us up, wishing death upon us. Yeah, I don't want to deal with people like them. I'm sick and tired of them. I'm sick and tired of the disrespect. So yeah, I will absolutely boycott people like them with that mindset. But the Africans collectively, I won't be boycotting them because most Africans don't think that way. I know it may seem like it, but it only seems that way to some of us because we see them online. Because of social media, we see a lot of hateful things being said online. But at the end of the day, it is not most Africans who feel that way. It is not most Jamaicans or Trinidadians or Haitians. It is not most of them that feel that way. Really, it's not even a lot. Okay, if we were to go by percentages. But at the end of the day, the ones that feel like that, yeah, boycott them. Why not? Okay, why not? At the end of the day, we have boycotted other people before. Okay, that's what we have done. So anyway, with that all being said, sometimes you got to teach people like her a lesson. I think she's already been taught a lesson because they're saying that she's been fired, which is good. She needed to be fired for being so hateful. Okay, for being so hateful. Lord Business says, I fought in Iraq and Afghanistan. Let's go, Beesh. I know, right? She's literally talking about a war. Okay, as if we're all going to be out here on different sides, you know, just going at it. No, people just said something about a boycott. See, I want you to pay attention to how they change things, at the end of the day and push these narratives. Now, it went from people talking about a boycott, FBA talking about a boycott, to them talking about protesting, which nobody said anything about, to them talking about destroying their stores and shops. Nobody said anything about destroying anything. Stop acting like we're so damn destructive, okay? Nobody said anything about that. Then it turns into war. You see how that escalated so quickly? But no, they don't need our money. Of course they do. Of course they do. Here's the thing. If you go to Africa and open your businesses, you won't need our money. But you're not in Africa. The ones of you that are here, you're in our homeland. And you do need our money because we control the spending power. And that's just facts. I don't say that to boast or brag because most of us, in fact, spend our money on the wrong things. But nevertheless, we literally control the spending power. And if you don't believe me, just watch. Okay, so that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. I want to thank you all for tuning in once again. Please like and share. Okay, Vince I Am said both of them sounded demonic, and they absolutely did, beloved. They absolutely did. Okay, so that all being said, I love you all to life. I hope you all enjoyed the broadcast. I hope everybody learned something. All right. Okay, so with that all being said, each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. And also remember that we're always going to be stronger together. And, you know, we're not going to get along with everybody, but we should all try to work together with like-minded people, whether they're African, Jamaican, white, Asian, whatever. Like-minded people, that's who we should be working with. And we should support the people that support us. Okay? And the people that have our back, well, we can have theirs. But if you don't have our back, when the time gets hard, the going gets tough, don't come running talking about Black Americans, FBA, where y'all at? Where y'all at? If you didn't have our back, don't expect us to have yours. Okay? Don't expect us to have yours. All right? So with that all being said, I love you all to life. I hope you all enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Keep your notifications on because I will probably come back later. Okay? But remember, beloveds, to always keep the Most High first in your lives. Peace.
Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in magazines.